I'm nervous. Pastor set me up. Thank you, Pastor. What we do a word of encouragement for those who don't know. And Pastor lets us come up and do a word of encouragement. So that's what I'm about to do. Okay. Whew. Okay. Okay, Pastor called me a few weeks prior to the date he gave me for my encouraging word. And he said, you know it's about time for you to do your encouraging word. And I said, well, no, I don't, because I don't have nothing encouraging to talk about, right? So, unlike y'all, I know y'all perfect. I'm going through things, okay? So it wasn't that I didn't have anything encouraging to say to anyone. It's just I didn't have anything encouraging to say to myself because of where I was at that time. And you see, I've been praying for a job. I was praying for a car. It was things that I needed that were taken away from me when I was sick, when I was sick. So I was praying for God to bless me, and he did. He gave me 2 paying jobs. He gave me a car. I was in overflow. And, I was doing big. I was like, yes, I'm tithing, I'm giving, I'm serving. And then all of a sudden it went boom. And I was down. Life hit me so hard. And I said, why, God? I'm doing it right. Like, I'm trying to do what you asked me. I'm being obedient. So I just found myself getting hit with blows of life. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. And when it hit me and I fell, I stayed there. I felt like I didn't even have the energy to pull myself back up. So being depressed, and then you go through that thing they said, fake it till you make it. I faked it till I made it right back home. I faked it till I made it back home in my own private space where no one could see my mess and where I was. So I started asking God. I kept saying, God, you're so quiet. Why are you so quiet? I was almost getting angry. Like, where you at? But then I realized, he brought to my spirit, you're not focusing on me anymore. You're focusing on my blessings that I gave you. See, I stopped reading. I stopped praying all the time. I started working. Every time you saw me, I was on my computer. I was working. In my car, going places, shopping, spending the money he blessed me with. See, I started focusing on the blessings and not the blesser. Okay? So when it came to my spirit, I wanted to cry out, God, I'm sorry. I got this. I started feeling sorry for myself. I started saying, God, I'm sorry. And I felt like I didn't even have. How can I come to you and ask you for help when you gave me all this and I ignored you after I got it? Okay? Now, mind y'all, I'm coming to church every Sunday. I'm on a praise team. I'm doing it. But nobody knew where I was. So I said, okay. God said, well, you have grace. And I'm sorry I didn't give y'all the title. The title is Grace. He said, I gave you grace. I'm like, grace. It just kept ringing in my head. I'm still in the land of the living. I had to think about it. I'm a cancer survivor. I'm still here. My heart is still beating in my chest. If that's not grace, I don't know what grace is. See? So I wanted to know more about grace. So I got deep. The pastor always said, you get deep. I go deep. So I wanted to read. I wanted to find out more about grace. I wanted to understand what grace was. See, because people tell you grace is the unmerited, undeserved, unearned favor of God. We can't do nothing to deserve, nothing we can do. It's a gift that he gave to us. We did nothing to get it. Nothing, right? So I said, okay. Oh, okay, God, I got you. So I started studying, I started reading. I said, I can stand there and tell them what grace is, but nobody ever says what it does. What does grace do? See, we know what it is. Unmerited favor, unearned, we can't, it's a gift. Ain't no buy mercy and then get grace for free. Ain't none of that. It's free. So I said, okay, God, What is grace? Tell me. Tell me. I want to know. I want to know. What does it do? See, grace, y'all hear this? Grace is our Father already taking into consideration that we're going to mess up. Hear me again. Grace is our Father already taking into consideration that we're going to mess up. So he sends payment. Jesus Christ. AKA grace. Because he knew we would mess up. He knew we wouldn't get it right. He knew it. So I ask you, what has grace done for you? I know we got some complaining going on. We got some depression going on. We got some, I don't want to do that going on. What has he done for you? What has grace done for you? So as I was studying and I started watching videos, and this video came up. And when it went off, I couldn't move. I was stuck. Video was about 5 minutes long, but I ain't gonna give y'all that much. I'm gonna give y'all about 2 minutes. Come on, Danny. I'm gonna show you what grace looks like. Wait a minute, Danny, hold it for 1 second. Let me give him a little introduction. See, it was a gentleman named Dick. He had a son named Rick. And when he was born, the umbilical cord was around his neck. So when he was born, it messed up some things. He couldn't walk, he couldn't talk, and he had disabilities. So they had a family member that died, and they were doing a 5K fundraising. So that he said, I want to do it, Dad, I want to do it. Now, mind you, he couldn't walk and he couldn't talk, but he had learned to, his mother and father had taught him to talk with his eyes and read the alphabets with his eyes. So he told his dad he wanted to run in a race. Then I told you he couldn't walk and he couldn't talk. And he couldn't take care of himself. I told you that, right? So they ran to date, they ran over 72 marathons. His father said, he went to his father and he said, Daddy, I want to run in the race. Father said, okay. Father started training. Hard as he could, just training. They ran over 72 marathons together, 255 triathlons. Triathlons when you got to do the swimming, you got to do the running, you got to do the biking, you got to do it all for hours. When he would take him on the water, he would put him in a raft, and everybody else swimming. He got to swim with him and his son in a raft. He never stopped. He finished every one of them. Play it, Danny. I know y'all want to watch the rest, but we all be crying by then. But I wanted you all to see that because I wanted you to know that he didn't have to give anything for his father to do that. His father is human. Our God is a spirit. He is awesome. He ways past he created us. So if our creator created us, and we don't have to do anything to receive his grace. See, eventually his father got old and he couldn't do it anymore. Our God never stops. He never stops. He never stops. When we're dead and gone, he's still going. He's taking care of your children. And come on, y'all. Understand what grace is and what it does. And I wanted y'all to know, like, we're Rick. We're Rick. God is doing all the work. And then he allowed us to reap the rewards. He allows us to reap the reward. He loves us just that much. See? So I'm going to ask you again, what has grace done for you? Praise God.